Hi Scorpio, how are you? This is Sarah with Earth to Sarah Tarot. I will be doing your July love reading. See, we have the sun moving into Cancer, so that is about the house and home, security, love, nurturing, things like that. It is a water element, so that is the same element of that you have, Scorpio. If you're new to my channel, I do a 9-card layout and then just kind of tell a story based on what I see in the cards. I do not read reversals because I usually can get a drift of the vibe of the card, whether it's positive or negative based on its surrounding cards. Let's see, what else? This is the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake, art by Elizabeth Alba. This is the cover. It is brand new for me, so I'm still kind of learning the imagery of the deck, but I was just so excited to use it. Normally I don't use brand new decks when I do readings because I want to get familiarized, but I have been waiting for this deck forever, so I'm really excited about it. There is a more sort of feminine element to this deck, so I will do my best to not say her or she because it is not necessarily gender specific. One other announcement I just want to make is your moon sign is a very, very valuable astrological tool to use in understanding yourself, especially in relationships. That is our shadow side, our feminine side, the side that we sort of keep to ourselves, not our outward personality. So when you understand your shadow side better, you are able to understand conflict within yourself and within relationships. When things happen, you can better sort of analyze and reflect on your behavior, I think. Okay, so enough of that. We're going to get into the Scorpio reading. I'm going to tune in to the divine here for a moment. Please, divine, what are the messages and energies regarding love for the sign of Scorpio? The sign of Scorpio, their mantra is I desire. What is going on with Scorpio this month in July regarding love and relationships? Please offer advice for the sign of Scorpio regarding love and relationships. Part of the body ruled by Scorpio is the genitals. You are the sexual, mysterious sign, the sign of regeneration, birth, death, the afterlife, things like that. Very, very deep, deep things, Scorpio. That's why you are a deep well of a person. So what does the divine want us to know for the sign of Scorpio in love and relationships? Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and here we go. Scorpio, July relationships. Scorpio, July relationships. I'll hold the cards up also so you can see them better as we talk about them. Oh wow, starting off with the Empress, Major Arcana, abundance, creation, boundaries, beauty. The Eight of Swords, the Sun, Page of Pentacles, Okay, King of Wands, Hanged Man, the Six of Pentacles. Oh my word, the Emperor, and the Six of Swords. Okay, and on the bottom of the deck we have the Two of Swords. Okay. So, let me just get my Batman cup. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana. And just interesting that we don't have any cups or any water elements, which is your element, Scorpio. So, it's quite possible that you are dealing with a fire sign, because we have the King of Wands, we have the Sun, and we have the Emperor. The Sun is representative of Leo, Emperor Aries, and then Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries individual. So it's quite possible that you're dealing with one of those signs. It's like, okay, so all of the cards that are coming up right now, or several of them, you're in a place of deciding, sort of like a surrender, a place of what am I going to do next. So either you're in a marriage, because it's so rare that you see the Empress and the Emperor together. They are the mother and father archetype of the tarot. Okay, so they represent the creators. They are the king and queen of everything. They rule the other kings and queens. Okay, so they are the two most sort of powerful individuals, you know, in terms of like parenting and creation and ruling society, and so that could either represent your mother or your father. That could represent that your husband or your wife, that you're in a marriage, or it could also represent your idealistic view of what you're looking for in a relationship. And I know that Scorpio individuals are idealists. And it's like with the Sun here, you have the Sun, there's a pregnant woman, it's just like three individuals from different walks of life. But the Sun, there's just like nothing bad I can say about the Sun. The Sun is an absolute beautiful card. It's a positive omen. It's like the Sun is shining over an absolutely divine connection. So what I want to say is, if you're in a relationship right now, a happy relationship, you are so blessed, Scorpio. You have somebody that, you know, you are extremely compatible with. This is a soulmate situation. The Sun is shining over the Emperor and the Empress. That, to me, is an absolute beautiful, beautiful, beautiful omen. So whatever if you're just getting into a relationship and you're not sure if this connection is going to last, I don't like to predict the future. I certainly don't. But with those two cards coming up, if for you it's indicative of a relationship that you're happy in, I think that it's going to last. I think that it's something that you should absolutely invest your time in. Absolutely, you know, like that is a husband-wife material, that with family, children, staying together. So, yes, if you're married, if you're totally single, I think, and your parents are still together, if you have your parents are still married, they've been married for several years, it's quite possible that ideally you're looking for a connection that your parents have. You want something solid. You want something that is unbreakable, that will last. You want a family. You want abundance. You want to create. You want to protect. Like if you're the man, it's like the archetype Scorpio man. Like, I make the rules in my family. I protect my family. I earn for my family. I care for my family. And the woman is like, I love, I cherish, I nurture, I am there for, so you either came from a really solid family, or that's what you're seeking out of a relationship, because this is a relationship reading. If you're single, that's your ideal scenario. Like for instance, what your parents have. If your parents have a terrible, horrible, you come from a divorced family, even more do you want something solid? Even more do you crave this lasting relationship, something that will stick around. The Emperor and Empress, they're not going to divorce. Okay, they create society. And with the Sun with it, it's like, there's nothing that you won't do. Like, that is what you want out of a relationship, is you want something that's going to last. Therefore, you're not going to get married unless you feel strongly that it's going to last. You're not going to say I love you unless you feel strongly that, this person is protecting you, nurturing you. They're a potential wife. Like, otherwise, I think you're just going to have dating around, having sexual connections or whatever. But until you see someone, if you're single, this is for single people, until you see someone that you can picture being the father of your children, the mother of your children, as good as your father and mother, and their connection, one that you feel these two people complement each other, they protect each other, they build together, they build security, stability, abundance, all that. So if you don't see that in the person that you're dating casually, I think that's it. Like, you're moving on. So if you are dating someone new and you're like wondering if you should pursue this connection, my advice is yes. Because for whatever reason, here you are, Scorpio. Hopefully I can get close enough. Here you are. The Eight of Swords is a woman who has a ribbon bound around her arms, but it's not tied. It's not tied. She's got these swords around her. She can easily just go like this with her wrist and it'll fall out, and then she can lift up the blindfold and then be like, oh, okay, I can just step through these swords. But for some reason she wants to play the Vic right now, and she wants to sit there and feel trapped. And so I think that there's a part of you that's wondering, is this something that I should, I'm feeling a lot. Maybe you're feeling a lot of emotions. Maybe this person is very attractive for you. If you're a male Scorpio, the Empress represents everything beautiful. She's gorgeous. Everyone wants to be with her. So I think that, you're feeling oh my gosh, I'm vulnerable to this person. Or if you're single, maybe you're feeling like you're never going to find this person, this ideal connection that you're looking for, like what your mom and dad have, or what they didn't have, and what you want to provide for yourself if they didn't, you know what I mean? So you're just thinking about that, and you're thinking I'm not going to give myself to anyone until I know that it's the right path. And the reason I say that is because, you've got the Page of Pentacles. Here, he's standing at a crossroads. He can go down the path. He's not. He's standing there. He's very slow moving, but of all the pages, he is the most well-read. He studies. He thinks very hard before he acts. He isn't quite yet in control of the material world, but he's trying. So it's like you're not yet sure of yourself. You're not yet sure of this connection. You're not yet sure if you should move forward. If you are single, you're not sure if this is ever going to happen. You know, is this person ever going to come to me? You know, it's like you're okay. So what this page would do, let's say what this page would do if he were single and he were waiting for his ideal mate. He would like write it down. Do you see how below him he has like a map and lesson plans and stuff? Like he's the type that reads books, takes notes. So if you want something so badly, think about it in your mind. Think about how this connection would look to you. How this indefiable, indestructible archetype, mother, father, family, traditional thing would look to you, and write it down in your journal. What do you want? What do you need? And take the path towards preparing for that, because you know it might not be coming in July, Scorpio, but if this is what you truly, truly want, you truly desire, when you want something, you want it badly, okay? And people misunderstand you a lot because you're so deep. But like, I get it. I get that you care so much in finding the right person, and you only want to open up to someone that you know is going to be there, and like that it's a safe scenario, and you don't want to marry several times, or you know, like I think you really want an ideal situation when it comes to love. And so you're just super, you can be very hard to understand and very hard to reach, because it's like for you, and it should be, it's a waste of time for you to share and get emotionally in depth with people that you don't think are going to be there long term. And of all the signs, Scorpio, you are, I mean, you have the ability to be psychic. You can read people like that. So you, of all people, know very, very quickly whether you're going to be in love with someone or not. Like, whether someone is right for you or not. And you'll play around with the scenario. You might have sex with them and go out on dates with them, very well knowing that they're not going to be a long-term scenario for you. And you can do that because you know what you want, right? And your desires are very strong. And so, you know, you can have like a sexual connection with someone, and that's all it is for you, because in your mind you're like, I have to get to my ideal. I have to get to this. I have to reach this, you know, this finality. And I'm not going to let anybody get inside who I know is not worth it, who's not good enough for me, you know? So, I totally understand that about you, and it's admirable, it's respectable, but if I can just say something without being offensive, it's that, like the Empress and like the Emperor, you are super attractive, desirable, especially I think sexually, because you're, the part of the body ruled by Scorpio is your sexual organs, and you're very much, that's how you express your emotions, you know, like truly like let loose and be vulnerable, I think is like in the bedroom. And so it's very easy for people to mistake that passion and that love and that desire that you just naturally have for love, and like they think that you love them because you're so passionate like that, you know, and maybe, and you've known all along that like, hey, this is my thing though, I'm not just gonna give it a bare minimum here in the bedroom, I'm gonna make it worth everybody's while, but it doesn't mean that I love you. And a lot of people take that for a relationship or whatever. And so I think that's where the misunderstanding of Scorpios can sometimes come from, is that they are so passionate and they are so mysterious and they are so attractive that we all want to know more. You know, it's just like you just want to keep like scratching the surface, and finding more. Okay, so do I give or do I go? Always, always your question. Both are sixes. This is the Six of Pentacles. This is reciprocity, give and take. It doesn't have to be money. This is just like, it can be your time, because I think, Scorpio, your time and your emotions are very, very valuable to you. And so you're very, very you're choosy on who you give your time to. And you know, if you're, like I said, if you're seeing someone, I recommend giving your time to them, and, you know, not leaving and not running at the first sight of problems too, you know, or like the first argument or first time you don't get your way or whatever it is. Like, you can't just bounce out, you know, because I really do see what you have in mind. But if you feel that you're in a relationship, okay, when you evaluate the person right off the bat, like I said, you'll know if it's someone that could be a potential long-term mate or not. When you go into this reflection and you decide, yes, they are, or no, they aren't, I think it is your responsibility to not just leave or continue, you know, talking and being with them and leaving them hanging. Like, I've never had this interpretation of the Hanged Man before, which is weird because it's so completely obvious, like, leave me hanging. But I feel like this is other people, and it's like, you'll be gone with the wind, and you have decided, okay, I had my fun with this person, I'm done, I'm over it, no explanation. And like I said, they have gotten attached to you because you're so desirable, and then they're like left hanging. They feel like, what the heck just happened? There's no explanation here, you know? And it's sort of like you leave other people like looking, like going, what did I do? It's like literally throwing darts at a dartboard blindfolded. See, she's blindfolded, throwing darts at a dartboard, like hoping that it's kind of like drawing straws for something incredibly important, or, you know, it's like they just don't know. They're like, did I do that? Did I do this? Is it because blah? You know, they don't know. They can't see. They don't know what the reason was why you decided to leave, or, you know. And how funny, the Eight of Cups is on the bottom, which is leaving again. So it's like when you leave, they're just like, what happened? Because I think, you know, in your mind, it's very clear. In your mind, it's like, you're not compatible with me. You're just not going to be the one for me. You know, I want a wife. I want a husband. It was fun while it lasted, but it's just, you're not the one. I don't see you as my sun, my moon, my stars, my life. And so you bounce, and then they're like, what the heck just happened? And for you, you're like, well, duh. Like, I just didn't feel like this was going to be anything. But they don't understand it, you know? So it's like you'll give them you know, the time of day and make them think that they've got a chance or something, and then all of a sudden you're gone and they're left wondering why. So if I could offer any advice at all, is when you've made up your mind, okay, and you've decided you're going to leave and you've chosen your path, like to stay or to go, or this person is like husband or wife material, you know, when you have made up your mind, rather than operating on this, here's the King of Wands, this is operating on, he's very much action oriented, very much desire oriented, very willpower, like courage, and it can go good in both ways. Like you can have the willpower to control yourself, or you can have the, you know, or you can just succumb to your willpower. But the king is a mature version of himself, so he knows how to control his willpower. So like when you realize that this girl or this guy is not going to be the one, have some willpower and sit them down and explain to them. Gosh, I'm far away from the camera, but there's a cat there, you see, and he's like got the globe out, and I mean, chances are he's plotting his next move, where he's going to go in the world next, what his next challenge is, and you know, he's already ready to go, ready to move on. And the cat's like, okay, what's up? Where are we going? So for me, for you, I think you should explain to people, give them the respect of, you know, either them, you know, feeling like this or you feeling like this, whatever it is, and give them the respect of saying, hey, you know, you're a great person, I respect you, we had a good time together, blah, 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 but I am looking for, oh, goodness, I'm sorry. I am looking for my wife. I am looking for my husband. I am looking for the son. You want everything. You know, these three cards are like, it's just crazy that they're in a line. Like, I think that's just what you want, and I think you know it. But the problem is you hang around people that aren't worthy of you, or aren't worthy of what you really want for too long, and then you get frustrated and like you take it out on them, and then you just leave them, and then you get this bad rap for, oh, a Scorpio broke my heart. I mean, I know so many Scorpios who have broken hearts, you know, right? Because you're just like, I think one of the reasons you're one of the most misunderstood signs is because A, you're just deep, you know, there's just so much to you. Like, think about death, think about birth, think about the afterlife. Those are all things that are just like so magical and so deep and so you know, so many questions involved. So it's like you are very, very much just a well of things to learn, and like you have an ability to, your mystery is attractive to people, and people get attached to trying to figure you out, you know, and then I think they end up feeling like, why did they leave? You know, what did I do wrong? And I think it's not necessarily anything that people do wrong to you. It's simply that they're just not it for you. And so I'm just going to tell a little story. Since these cards came up, it's very, very relevant. I normally don't like to get, you know, too personal, but I'm going to make this quick, Scorpio, and how it helped me if you're dating a Scorpio also, but how I was able to sort of understand a Scorpio. I dated a Scorpio a few years back, and literally, like, it was the first time in my life I had ever been heartbroken. And we're talking like the kind of heartbroken where you just can't get out of bed and you're just devastated. And I think I was 24 or something when this happened. And up until that age, I had never ever been heartbroken by a male before. And this Scorpio just literally broke my heart. And so I know like how people are like, oh, Scorpios are mean, blah, blah, blah. But it's just because you have that effect on people. Anyway, when we broke up, what his explanation was to me was, he said this: we're just not compatible. And I could not accept that. I was like, what do you mean? I don't understand. Like, we have to, there has to be a way to be, that's not an answer to me. Like, back then, I was young, I was only 24. So I thought for people to break up, it had to be because somebody did something wrong. Somebody cheated, somebody lied, somebody, like that. But it was literally just that he knew what he wanted. His desire was clear. He knew in his mind that he didn't see me as his wife, and he had strung me along for too long, and like we had been in a relationship, I think, for almost 2 years, and I'm sure he knew 6 months in that he didn't want to marry me or whatever, but he stayed with me and gave me this and that. But there's also one other thing, is he never said, I'm a very expressive person, I come from an expressive family, I say I love you all the time. And he had said I love you to me only a few times within the couple years that we dated. And I asked him why, I'm like, why will you only say it like randomly, And he was just like, his parents didn't say that to him very often, but B, I think it was because he loved me as a person, but he wasn't in love with me the same way that I was in love with him. So he wasn't gonna tell me something that wasn't true. I mean, not necessarily that he didn't love me, but you know what I mean? Like, I loved him in a way where I thought he could be my husband. He loved me in a way where, he could give me his time and like be my friend, and he had already planned on moving on. And so that is one thing that is very respectable about, I think, Scorpios, is they just don't really make promises that they can't keep. So I think people find that mean or rude, but it's real. Would you rather someone string you along and leave you hanging and thinking that they love you and telling you that they love you and this and that, and then like all of a sudden just you wake up one day and they're gone and you're like, why did you leave? What happened? What happened? So don't do that to people, Scorpio, and be real. That's who you are. You don't make promises you can't keep. That's not anything to be ashamed of. That's something to be proud of, because you know what you want. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but unfortunately for other people, it's ideal. Like, you want it all. You want the white picket fence. You want a husband that makes money and loves you, and like you're the center of their world and they're the center of your world. Like the Emperor and Empress they don't cheat on each other. They don't, I think of them as everything good. And Scorpio people are very like possessive and jealous, and like they don't want anyone to have eyes for anybody else but them. It's very important. And I think these two are blessed by the divine, are blessed by God to be together and to show the world how two people, the masculine and the feminine, come together to create life, to create, you know, a world, because we can't have one without the other. You know, masculine protects and the feminine nurtures, and it's like men and women make phenomenal teams. They can, and not just men and women, but people that complement each other, you know, women and women that complement each other, that balance each other out with that masculine and feminine. It doesn't have to be a man and a wife. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put it like that. It's just two people that are able to balance the masculine and the feminine in a way that's productive, in a way that creates life and joy and the sun. You know, that's winning, you know. So I see these two people as very much true and loyal, and, you know, you want someone that is loyal to you. So yeah. So let's see, to summarize this, Scorpio, if you are dating someone, like the tarot's saying, if you don't see them as like the one, quit giving and making, you know, stringing them along if you know you're gonna leave. Okay, if you are really into someone and like you are seeing potential, great. Like, it could be the one. You could be in a relationship with the one. If you are single, totally single, and there is no one, don't give up. I think that you just want something that is serious, like something that is real. You want the, you know, the mom and dad, the yin and yang. Like, you want this power. These two people are powerful together. So I know you'll get it, because when you want something, you'll get it. And that's what's great about you, Scorpio, is you don't settle. You know, you're not going to say or do things that isn't in line with your desires and what you want. So if people call you mean because you leave them, I think it's more just that because they don't understand why. And there's just, you know, it takes a mature person to be able to explain, hey, you know, we're just not compatible. It sucks to hear that. I hated that. But once I figured it out, I appreciated it. I appreciated that he was able to tell me that, and I appreciated that he didn't, you know, sit there and tell me he loved me and this and that, and he was going to be there for me when he knew he wasn't going to be. But I took it as, you know, something I could fix, or him being just rigid, you know, and I didn't take it as, oh, maybe he just, like, what if he really doesn't? I don't know. Anyway, happy 4th of July, and I hope this makes sense. Really, it's a beautiful reading, so I'm happy that it's up there, Scorpio. But yeah, it's like people just try to figure out, where did you go? So I hope that resonated, and if it didn't, please check out your moon sign. There might be some more messages there, or please check me out next month. So thank you so much. Aloha, Scorpio.